Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Noelle, aka Makeup Esquire. I'm a lawyer and a lover of all things beauty, and today we are testing out new makeup that I just picked up from the Sephora sale. I'm so excited about all these products. The Sephora VIB sale is my favorite time of year. I really let myself splurge because I do have the 20% off discount. So if you'd like to see how I achieve this look with the new makeup products I just picked up, please keep watching. Let's get right into it. For brows, I did pick up a backup of my Valentino Brow Trio. It's my tried and true holy grail, top shelf, all-time favorite brow pen. And I heard that they were out of stock on the Sephora Canada website, so I got scared and ran and got me a backup. Who knows if Valentino is going to be discontinuing this, but I didn't want to run the risk and I picked myself up a backup. And I have the shade Granite. I already did my brows today just to not waste time. I already put a primer on as well. I did pick up a couple of SPF / primers. I got the CIELE Prime and Protect SPF 30 and the Ultraviolet Velvet Screen SPF 50. It's a blurring mineral sunscreen. It claims to be a super soothing, softly mattifying skin filter. And I am using the ultraviolet one today. I also picked up a backup of my Tarte primer since I also really love this Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer, and it was going in and out of stock during the Sephora sale, so I didn't want to risk being without it, and now I have a backup. So I think I'm going to be skipping over a lot of the things that I have already previously mentioned on my channel. I have a couple of lives up already where I had orders trickling in and I was talking about some of the things that I picked up, and I showcased them already, so feel free to catch those if you haven't already. But since then, I have received a few more orders in the mail, and that's what I wanted to showcase today. The only new foundation that I picked up was the Anastasia one, the soft matte blurring foundation. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills new Impeccable soft matte foundation. I picked up the shade 4N, but it was way too dark, so I had to return it. I don't know if I'm gonna pick up a different shade. I think 3N would be a pretty good shade for me, but I don't know. I did try it once by mixing it in with my House Labs, that white foundation that I have, but it didn't really impress me too much. I know it wasn't a super accurate wear test because I mixed it in with the House Labs one, but I think I'm good on foundations. I don't necessarily need any new foundations. So for today's base, I just brought out the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. I have the shade 3. I've been liking this one to mix in with my foundations. It's almost like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter if you haven't tried that one already, but except this one is way better. So I do like the Charlotte Tilbury one, but if you also like the Charlotte Tilbury one, then I don't think you'd be disappointed picking this one up. I do typically stick to using this one around the perimeter of the face. So for today's look, I figured we can combine this Dior Forever Glow Star Filter with some of the new concealers that I picked up. If you are not new to my channel, you know how much I love the Creal Face Flex Concealer. I already had shades 4 and 5, but I did pick up one additional shade during the Sephora sale, and I picked up the shade 3. In addition to the Creal concealer, I also picked myself up another Westman Atelier concealer. I again already had this one in the shade M2, but I picked myself up one in the shade M1. I have really been enjoying these two concealers lately, so I figure we'll just do a little combination of these two concealers since I've really been enjoying this Face Flex concealer all over the face as well. I'm gonna just take a little bit of shade 5 and mix it in on my palette here with that Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. And I'm just going in with a super light layer. I don't want the coverage today to be super full coverage, but I am very excited to try out my new foundation brush that just came in from Bobo. As I'm filming this now, it is still available on the Bobo website. You can get her through the link down below in my description. I've been very excited about this brush. It is a combination of Kolinsky hair and fox. The bristles are super soft. Y'all know I collect Fude, which is Japanese handmade natural makeup brushes. And Bobo has really been impressing with her new releases that she's been coming out with. And this is a first impressions of me using this brush on camera with y'all. And I can already say I am in love. Look at just how beautifully and evenly it's blending in that foundation. These bristles are so soft. And these bristles can be used with powders as well, but this brush was intended to be used as a foundation brush. Again, I'm more so focusing this along the perimeter of the face, keeping the center of the face empty so that I can put concealer right there. I love how the Creal Face Flex Concealer is providing me with just enough coverage, and the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter is just providing a little bit of luminosity and a slight blurring effect to the skin. Now I'm going in with the Westman Atelier Vital Skincare Concealer. This is again in the shade M1. I am wearing LASHIFY eyelashes, and you can get 20% off at the LASHIFY website by using the link in my description. I won't go too much into it. I have a ton of videos if you have any questions about the at-home DIY lash system I'm obsessed with. This shade M2 has a slightly more yellow undertone, and the shade M2 has a slightly more peachy undertone. So just FYI if we're shade twins. I'm going in with the Face Flex Concealer in the shade 4. It is just a hair lighter than my actual skin tone. And then I'm just going to use a tiny bit of the shade 5, which is really spot on to my skin tone right now, and just using it in a couple more places where I feel like I need a little bit extra coverage. Also, with this foundation brush, you get a cute little pouch that comes with it, and look at how adorable it is. It says Bobo right there, made in Japan, and it's so cute and super functional. It has multiple slots for your brushes, a perfect cute little travel case. So I thought that that was a very nice touch from Bobo. Now, another recent release from Bobo that currently is also in stock is this one. It's a collaboration between herself and Huda, and it's this beautiful 3D shape slanted goat brush. And I've been loving this one for concealer. It's the perfect size and shape to be precise where you need to be precise. As you can see, it's perfect to get into these little small nooks and crannies, but it's not so small to where it takes you forever to blend out your concealer, if you know what I mean. Because these bristles are goat hair, this brush can also be used with liquids, creams, and powders. Another way I've been enjoying using this brush is after I finish using it for my concealer, I'll wipe it off on my microfiber cloth, and then I'll use it to pinpoint powder. And by that, I mean by being precise about my powder placement. If I have to touch up my T-zone throughout the day, this is the perfect brush to just grab a compact setting powder and just kind of touch up around my nose, above my lip, and on my chin. The tips of these bristles are orange because it's dyed with persimmon dye. It's a traditional way of dyeing brushes in Japan. It gives it this beautiful hue, and it makes the bristles a little bit more resilient without compromising the integrity of the softness of the bristles. Now I'll just go back in with the foundation brush and make sure everything is nice and blended out. Now I'm just gonna go in and set my T-zone with my tried and true Huda Beauty loose setting powder. You've seen me do this a million times. I still haven't found a setting powder that I enjoy more than the Huda Beauty one, so we'll just fast forward through this part. For cream contour, I did pick up a couple of the new Isamaya contour sticks. I have the shade Rosewood and Oak. They're basically the same shades. It's the perfect cool tone contour stick for me, and I've really been enjoying these. I'll do shade Oak on my right side and shade Rosewood on the other and see if you can tell a difference. When I swatched them earlier, I wasn't really able to tell much of a difference, but I'm not mad that I picked up both because I think they're great. That's shade Oak, and this is the shade Rosewood. I'm just gonna go in with my Sephora Pro Foundation brush number 47 and go ahead and blend that out. I love how these contour sticks really do come in cool undertones. There's so many contour, liquid, cream contour products on the market nowadays that are marketed as such, but in reality they lean really warm and orange, and that's not going to give you the same effect as a cooler tone contour product. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to add shadow and dimension and sculpt. You're gonna want a cooler leaning contour product for that. Every time I've used these, and it's been a handful of times so far already, they just blend out really nicely, very easily, evenly. There's no patchiness. These contour sticks aren't finicky. They play well with other products. Even though I did powder a little bit, it's not catching on the powder or becoming patchy. And they're perfect for being super precise with your contour, like on your nose. I even like to use these as like a contour on my lips to give a little bit of a shadow, like a lip flip effect. Highly recommend these Isamaya contour sticks. I did not pick up any new powder bronzers, but I do have my eye on the new Givenchy ones, so I'm just waiting for those to hit Sephora, and you know your girl is going to pick at least one of those up. Very excited about that. I did pick up 2 of Givenchy's new pressed powders, and I do have the shade 3 and 4, so I'll be using that at the end when I touch up with powder all over the face after all my makeup is done. That's pretty much how I like to use my pressed setting powder. It does not take the place of my loose setting powder because I do have combo to oily skin, but I have really been enjoying this, so stay tuned for that. Another concealer that I did pick up is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. I have the shade 3.5C. I have been really enjoying this concealer though, so if you're eyeing it, I think that the most satisfying part of it is the doe foot. Look at how just chunky that is. I love me a nice chunky doe foot applicator. It dispenses the perfect amount of product, not too much, not too little. It's easy to spread out. It's nice and matte. It's not too matte, not to the point where it's drying. It has kind of a soft matte finish, medium buildable coverage. So very excited about that one as well. Since I didn't pick up any new bronzers, I'm just going to go in with my Gucci bronzer. This is the shade 3. I've really been enjoying this bronzer. And I also did pick up this Hourglass dual-sided brush during the sale. I didn't have it before. I've seen it all over the internet for years, and I just kind of gave into the FOMO. I don't have a self-tan on right now, so I'm a little bit more pale than usual, as you can see. So this is pretty much one of my lightest bronzers, and it's a perfect shade for me right now. If you're not new to my channel, you might know that I have a slight obsession with blushes and lip products, and these 2 categories really got to my wallet this season, so I did pick up 3 of the Rare Beauty. These are the matte bouncy blushes, and I also picked up 2 additional shades in the YSL Make Me Blush formula. I picked up the shades 93 and 87. So super excited about these. I was really intrigued by the squishy, kind of moussey consistency in these Rare Beauty blushes and how vibrant the shades are. Almost too vibrant. I love me a good poppy, vibrant blush, but I don't know. I have a feeling that these might be a little bit too pigmented for my liking. That is the shade Grateful, which is a really pretty red. This is the shade Alive, which is this really pretty orange. But you see how just with one light swipe, how vibrant and pigmented those shades are. I'm not sure if I'm going to be keeping those yet, but I do think I'll be keeping at least one, which is the shade Happy here. It's just this really pretty pink, and probably the one that is the easiest to work with out of all of them, just because of how pigmented those shades are. So those are the 3 Rare Beauty blushes I picked up. Let me know if you've picked any of those up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. And I think I'm going to be using one of these new blushes by YSL. I did film a reel using shade 93, which is kind of reminding me of that NARS, that classic Orgasm shade, which is this pretty pink with a gold shift. You can already tell how much more pigmented those Rare Beauty blushes were than these. These are just easier to work with, and I've really been enjoying these, especially the packaging. Today I'm going to be going in with the shade 87. It's just this really pretty cool tone pink shade. And today, for the first time, I'm gonna try it with my little baby owl brush, also available on the Bobo website. I've really been loving this brush for so many tasks. I love it for foundation, cream bronzer, cream contour, cream blush. I even like it for powder. It's just so dynamic. I highly recommend it. This is another brush that is fox hair mixed with goat hair. Unlike the foundation brush I used earlier, which is fox hair mixed with Kolinsky. In comparison to the foundation brush, brush, the foundation brush, is a lot more dense, and you can just tell that it's better for foundation products and other cream products that you want a higher concentration of given the density of the bristles. The Baby Owl brush is a little bit more fluffy, it's a little bit more airy, it's less dense, and so it lends itself to a lot more tasks. Now, even though I did not need more blushes in my collection, and I have several of these cool pink tones, I've really been enjoying this YSL Make Me Blush formula. It is just so blurring and soft looking on the skin. It applies effortlessly. It's not leaving any patchiness. It wears well throughout the day. The shades are beautiful, and it's like the most beautiful packaging I've ever seen on the market for a blush. I did pick up four of the new Isamaya lip liners. I've really been enjoying this formula. The shades she came out with are great. I picked up the shades Tonka, Bean, Geisha, and Liberica. This is the shade Tonka. This is the shade Bean. This is Geisha and Liberica. The one other lip liner that I couldn't decide whether or not I was going to pick it up, I kept putting it in and out of my cart, are the new Merit lip liners. I picked up one shade. I almost picked up two, but I told myself I did not need two just in case I didn't like it. I wasn't sure about these because of the way they're marketed. This is the Merit Signature Lip Sheer Lip Liner, and I picked up the shade Tabak. Just putting it next to these Isamaya ones, you can already tell why it's marketed as a sheer lip liner, and for that reason alone, I just wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I typically don't like lip liner formulas that are shiny, and it just seemed like it wouldn't really have staying power. I also didn't like how this is a twist up lip liner. I prefer the old school sharpenable lip liner pencils made of wood. This does have an attached little sharpener here that you can use to resharpen the tip if you want. I'm not sure how often I'm gonna see myself doing that. I am wearing this right now just because I figured that if anything, I could just rock it with just like a clear lip gloss if I wanted to. And if there was ever a time I didn't really want like a harsh lip liner, just something a little bit more natural, I figured this one might be a good one. I'm still deciding whether or not I like this. Let me know if you've picked this up, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I love lip products, and during the sale, I did pick up my fair share. These are some of them. I still have more coming in the mail. So I'm just gonna go through the lip products that I picked up pretty quickly. I picked up one of the Laneige Glaze Craze Tinted Lip Serums in the shade Sugar Glaze. This is the one that has this donut-like shape applicator. It's pretty interesting, and I've tried that one once. I like it. I did pick up a few of the YSL plumping lip oils. I did showcase the shade 44 on an Instagram reel, so check that out at Makeup Esquire if you're not following me on Instagram already. I also picked up a couple of the new lip balms that were recently released by Tom Ford. I also picked up the new shade in the Tom Ford lipstick. This is the shade 13 Slip. And I love this Tom Ford lipstick formula, so I just knew I wanted this nude pink shade that was right up my alley. I also picked up this other shade in the Ultra Shine formula by Tom Ford in the shade Nude Coast. Been loving that. Tried it on the other day, love it. And I did pick up the new shade in the Westman Atelier lipstick. She came out in the same formula that has already been on the market, but this is just the new shade Petal. I picked up a couple more of these Armani lip glosses that I really love, and I really love this formula in the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Lip Gloss. I have a few other shades, but when I saw this new Strawberry Shortcake shade, I knew I had to pick it up. It smells glorious, just like Strawberry Shortcake, and I just love this nude, milky, pinky color. It's perfect. For eyes, I did pick up a couple more of the Armani eye tints that I love. I already have the shade 9S, and I also picked up the shade 68S. Love this formula. I swatched them on a recent live, so if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and do so. Finally, I picked up another Dior Lip Maximizer. This shade Lilac just really spoke to me, and I did not need another one, but here we are. I do want to try out the new Tom Ford lipstick since I have not yet tried her out. Here she is in all her glory, brand new, that beautiful crisp Tom Ford emblem. So let's try her on. These Tom Ford lippies are pricey, but they are some of the best formulas out there on the market. If you haven't tried a Tom Ford lipstick yet, I highly recommend it. For eyeshadow palettes, I did pick up the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes in 11 and 12. I have showcased them already in a previous video, and I have also showcased these two new Prada eyeshadow palettes that I picked up, and I've been loving these quads by Prada as well. I love the fact that Prada came out with some neutral color stories because I've been eyeing these quads for a while, but none of the quads that have the bright pops of color really spoke to me. So when I saw that they released these more neutral quads, I knew I had to pick a couple of them up. Highly recommend these as well. The other eyeshadow palette that I picked up is the Tom Ford Eye Color Quad. This is a shade 47 Olive Smoke. I had been eyeing this color story since it came out, and this is the first time I'm opening her up. I wanted to do it on camera with y'all. This is my favorite formula in these Tom Ford eye color quads. I love Tom Ford eyeshadows. They're some of my favorite formulas. If you don't have any, I highly recommend you trying one out, particularly in their creme formulas. And this Olive Smoke color story really spoke to me. It stood out as unique and just has these beautiful olive tones that I swear look good on every skin tone. So I do want to do just a quick eyeshadow look testing her out today, shall we? All of the eyeshadow brushes that I'm going to be using today I picked up from the Fude Bobo website, link down below. But if you have any questions about any specific brushes that I'm going to be using, feel free to leave me a comment down below. In this palette you have 3 shimmer shades and 1 matte shade down here. So I'm going to go in with this shimmer shade first. It's this really pretty bronze shade. This looks like it would be a really beautiful one and done shade. What I love about this Tom Ford creme formula is how easy it is to blend out. You never get any fallout. They're so effortless to apply. They just look so elegant on wrinkles, and they just glide so effortlessly across the eyelid. It's so easy to make yourself look like a pro, even though you might be a beginner at makeup. See how easy that was? I could just do 1 shade and that's it. Next, I'm going into that really pretty olive green shade, and I'm just going to focus it kind of towards the outer V. You see how beautiful and effortless that was? Going in with my brush that I used initially and no additional product on it, and just blending out the edges. Gorge. Same thing on the other side, concentrating it on the outer V, packing on that shade, and then blending it out and upward. Tom Ford did come out with one other color story in their new releases in their creme formula. It's like a peachy, warmer color story. I was so tempted to pick it up as well, but I stopped myself and only picked this one up, so I'm very proud of myself. Like this video if you're proud of me too. See how effortless that was? I always think that I don't have time for eyeshadow when I'm in a rush headed to work in the morning, but then I pull out a Tom Ford eyeshadow quad and I don't know why I feel that way, because this literally took like 2 seconds. Now I'm going in with a smaller brush, and I'm going into that deep matte shade, and I'm just going to place this right up against the lash line. I'm trying to stay as close to the lash line as possible, and I'm just kind of flicking out that shade to give kind of a smoky wing. And lastly, I'm dipping into this champagne-y shade here, and I'm going to pop that in the inner corner of the eye. I'm also going to take a tiny bit and put it right on my brow bone. I'm gonna leave my bottom lash line bare for now. I'll decide later if I want to put eyeliner on my waterline, but for now I think I'm just liking this look as is. I'm going in with my Hourglass. This is the Unlocked Instant Extensions mascara. I've used it a bunch before. I'm just trying to use up the tube. Even though I have LASHIFY on my top eyelashes, I still always go in with mascara on my bottom eyelashes. And now I'll go in and powder my T-zone with the new Givenchy-Prisme Libre Pressed Setting Powder. I picked up the shades 3 and 4. 3, 4. I have been testing out these powders throughout the week, and I will say that I have been pleasantly surprised by them. We all kind of didn't know what to expect after Givenchy discontinued their original loose setting powder formula, and we were hoping that this one might take its place, but alas, it's a good pressed setting powder, but it won't be taking the place of our beloved OG formula loose setting powder. Givenchy, if you're watching, please bring it back. I am liking these pressed powders that they came out with. They're nice and mattifying. They do have a scent. It smells like luxury, if you know what I mean. It doesn't bother me. I kind of like scents in my makeup most of the time, so I'm not picky about that. But if you are, that is something to note. And I figured I would pick up the shade 3 so that I could focus it on the center of my face like so. And then the shade 4 I like for an overall powder situation. Now the only new highlighter I picked up is another one of the Gucci highlighters. I already had shade 3 in the more golden shade, but I was tempted to pick up the opal pink in the shade 4, and I was not disappointed. I have used her already a couple of times, and it's so pretty. I just love this formula. It's very interesting. It reminds me of the same type of formula that's in these Rare Beauty blushes. If you press on it, you will leave indentations. That's just the nature of it. But I love how that type of formula just lays so nicely on the skin. It doesn't emphasize wrinkles. It's just so beautiful and elegant. And look at that's almost like wet looking. This is the Koyudo Yoshiki High Grade Saikoho Goat Hair Brush. Also available through Fude Bobo. Gorgeous, right? And lastly, I'm just gonna top it off with a little bit of lip gloss. This is the YSL Love Shine Plumping Lip Oil Gloss in the shade 2. I haven't tried on this shade yet, so it'll be the first time I'm trying her on camera with y'all. But I already know that I love the formula because I've already tried it in the shade 44, and I knew I had to pick up a couple more shades. The doe foot applicator is one of my favorite things about this lip gloss, but really I love everything about it. I have heard some people complain about the scent, but in my opinion, it doesn't smell bad at all. Kind of just smells like mangoes. It doesn't really burn too much on the lips. If you're familiar with the Too Faced lip plumpers, this one does not burn as much as those. I love the fact that it does give a plumping effect. It kind of fills in the lines beautifully. It wears beautifully. It's shiny. It's moisturizing, and the big chubby doe foot applicator is so satisfying to apply with. I also love the fact that they came out with so many fun shades. I did also pick up a few miscellaneous items, such as this Radiant Ronnie Brightening Saffron Essence Toner. I picked up a couple of hair products. I picked up some Josie Moran body butter. I just love trying out new things during the Sephora sale. I picked up the K-Skin Isles Sheen Sun Stick SPF 35. This is a sunscreen stick I had been eyeing and wanted to try out. I picked up a couple of deodorants, 3 fragrances, the new Valentino fragrance, Ellis Brooklyn Guava Granita perfume. The fact that the notes included guava and banana really sparked my interest. She smells delicious, totally spring and summer vibes. And the splurgy perfume that I picked up during this sale is this one by Kilian. It's their new Angel Share perfume, and I got sucked in. Look at how beautiful packaging is. I have the other Kilian Angel Share perfume, so I knew that I just wanted this new one. It is a little bit more gourmand and smoky and totally right up my alley. So I'm testing this one out today for the first time as well. So good. I'm not going to be pulling out everything that I purchased because this video will already be long enough, but if you are interested in any of the new items that I still have trickling in from the sale, stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, turn on your notification bell so you know every time I post a new video, and I'll be showcasing more products in the up and coming videos. Thank you so much for watching. Love you.